Greetings, my name is King Quinto. I have my cousins Candance and Cameron Potts, Morgan State University choir alumni. Since its inception, Morgan has developed one of the most prestigious choirs in the nation. Dr. Nathan Carter was the choir director for 34 years until his passing in 2004. You were both with the choir under Dr. Conway, who was Dr. Carter's successor. What years were you both a part of the choir?
I was a part of the choir in 2008 through 2013.
And I was a part of the choir between 2016 and 2020, so about 4 years.
Cam, you were also the choir's librarian. What were your duties?
So, as the librarian, I was the director's right-hand man. So in rehearsals, I would deal with the filing of music. That was during rehearsal and after rehearsal. I also dealt with student conflict. I also dealt with taking care of attendance. So usually with the director, he would be directing rehearsals and managing rehearsals. And I would just make sure that any other aspects of rehearsals that need to get done, I was there to assist him.
That seems like a very big role. Another big role is taking after Dr. Carter after his passing. What was it like being a part of Dr. Conway's program?
Under the direction of Dr. Conway, I believe the legacy continued greatly, even through the fact that now they have the Dr. Nathan Carter scholarship, and with that, it is the responsibility of those that are in the choir to carry on this legacy of such a great musician that came before them and paved the way. I know for me, I was a recipient of the Nathan Carter Scholarship for about 3 years, and through that, the process is you have to write an essay, you have to, and then go through, you have to sing in front of a panel of judges, and then once you win the scholarship, you then have to perform whatever your talent is, whether it's singing, whether it's playing the piano, whatever it is. And so the legacy has always continued through that scholarship, as well as through rehearsals and how rigorous the program is.
The Morgan Choir has also traveled many places outside the country, including Africa, Canada, Asia, so much more. Candace, what was your favorite out-of-the-country performance experience?
My favorite out of the country experience has to be touring to Europe, in Italy, seeing all of the different places that you see on TV, and then actually seeing it in person. It was like, wow.
I'll have to say Europe as well. My favorite in Europe was Austria, Slovakia, and Germany. It was a 10-day tour to those 3 countries. And I'll say those were my favorite because of the entire experience. The food, because I love to eat, food, the culture, and the musical experience all in one. And I think, yes, music is a universal language. There were performances where we were singing majority of our songs in English, and there were people in the audience that spoke their language, but after we finished singing, they may have not understood the words that we were singing, but they felt the music, and they came up to us crying, and I'm just like, well, come on, let me give you a hug. Yes, this is what it's all about. So that was my favorite out of the country experience. I'll also say because Austria is literally the home of classical music.
I noticed you mentioned classical music in that. Is that your favorite genre to perform?
It's not my favorite, but it is one of my top 3. I love classical, but I'll say my favorite is jazz. I love jazz, and one thing about Morgan's Choir is that we sing all genres. So whether you're a lover of R&B, jazz, rock, pop, classical, gospel, whatever it is, there is a place for you.
Love it.
I have to say classical is my first love. I actually, when I started to sing, first started in the church, but right after, like when I got to the age of like 12 and 13, I saw the movie The Sound of Music, and that's what sparked my interest in wanting to learn classical and Broadway tunes, and I'm just like, wow, this sound is amazing. I want to sound just like that, even better. So I have to say classical is my first love, and then right after it has to be jazz.
Morgan has also been all over the United States. Candace, start with you. What is your top 2 in-country performances?
One of my favorite performances, performing with the Morgan State University Choir, was Bernstein's Mass, written by Leonard Bernstein, We performed with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. We actually were Grammy nominated for that album. It was one of those performances where we toured. We performed at in New York, in Philadelphia, at different centers. And when I say it was just one of those pieces of music that stuck with me, and till this day, I can still sing every note. I'll put the album on and will sing the songs, the instrumentation part. I know every part because I mean he drilled every day. It had to be on point.
What were your top three?
Top three?
Top
Okay.
three
Okay.
in country performances.
Okay, so my top 3 performances in the country, I'll say the first 2 were similar, so to speak. I was honored to perform the song Glory performed by John Legend from the movie Selma at the homegoing celebration of Dick Gregory, well-known African-American civil rights activist as well as comedian. And that was a very monumental moment for me. As they were rolling his casket down to the front of the church, I actually was the first voice that everyone heard singing that song, and it was a very moving moment. I looked out into the audience as best as I could because it was very bright, but I saw people crying and I saw people like just in the moment, and that was just a very powerful moment for me. The second one was actually also singing at the memorial celebration for the late Honorable Elijah E. Cummings. And I actually was able to sing a hymn, Greatest Thy Faithfulness, at his memorial celebration on the campus of Morgan State. And for me, I was just like, I mean, this is a powerful person who was a pillar in our community, and to just be able to sing this song for in honor of his life, in honor of what he did for the community, was very monumental for me as well. And the third one was also with the choir being able to perform in Philadelphia at the Kimmel Center for Hannibal Lukumbe, who was an African-American composer and arranger. We were actually able to do the world premiere of his piece, Healing Tones. And with that piece, or that work, it was amazing because the piece itself was actually depicting the sounds of our ancestors. So with that, the different musical instrumentation that he did, both with instruments and the composing that he did with the voice parts, all spoke to the story of what our ancestors went through, and how, yet we went through something, we're still going, or rather still getting to a place of healing. Through this work, he also emulated different parts of our culture. So you know, being in church and hearing the washboards and the people, clapping like that on the wooden floors, he emulated almost every piece of our culture through this one work. Our choir rehearsal, and he spent about a week with us to literally take us through the why. Now, I don't want you to just come and sing these notes on page. I want you to understand why you are singing it. It's not just called healing tones, just for a reason. It's called healing tones because, in a sense, we want you to feel the tone, and hopefully through the tone, there's a sense of healing.
That is powerful. That is like bringing out the spirituality in everybody through music.
Yes.
That's strong. That's strong. How both of your experiences with the choir progressed you as singer-songwriters?
The Morgan Choir has progressed me in the area of discipline and preparedness, and also just always being ready for whatever is coming my way. It also has helped me in the area of confidence, because there were many times where I was a lead soloist on different songs and I had to stand in front of big audiences and I'm like, little old me, but it's prepared me in that area to just take over any obstacle that stands in front of me as it pertains to music. And at the end of the day, yes, Morgan's motto is growing the future, leading the world. But even with the choir has, and in the form of being a musician and a singer and a potential songwriter, it has caused me to literally grow the future and lead the world And because the choir has exposed me to the world, I am world ready.
This is amazing. Thank both of y'all so much for doing this interview with me.